Welcome again to the short tutorial for the Hebrew class that I'm teaching here at Calvary Baptist Church. And today what I'd like to do is provide for you an overview of the vowels and how those work. And remember that we're talking about vowels in their classes, which would be what we know in English is the A, E, I, O, and U class vowels. In Hebrew you can have long and short vowels. You can have full and defective vowels. And so I'll walk you through all the different classifications and how that works in terms of the way that they are positioned, specifically in relationship to the consonants. And remember that the vowels in Hebrew are typically known as vowel points rather than vowel letters. When we talk about vowel letters, you're referring to consonants which also serve to indicate vowels. So today, specifically, we're going to be looking at the vowel points. Typically, the points are written underneath the consonant or to the side or above. An example would be, let's just use X as a consonant. A vowel would be written underneath, such as in this case a patach, or it could be a kametz that would be written underneath. Then you will also have a vowel that will be written to the left of the consonant. And then the last would be an example where the vowel is written above the consonant, in this case as a holum or defective holum, or in this case as a full holum, which has the consonant vav coupled with the dot above that. Therefore you have the vowel holum. So let's walk through these A, E, I, O, and U, the different classes of the Hebrew vowels. So we're going to start first with the A-class vowels. There are primarily two A-class vowels. We'll begin with the short one first. Again, X representing our consonant. The first is going to be called a patach. It is a simple line immediately below the consonant. Patach. This is an ah sound, and that's how we want to pronounce it. Not ah, not a, but ah. It's going to have just a simple ah sound. This is called a patach, simple line. The next vowel that we have is called a kametz, and this looks like just a small t that is beneath the consonant. This is called a kametz. This is also going to have the ah sound. For our pronunciation purposes, both of these are going to be exactly the same in terms of how we pronounce them. So here you have the patach, and you'll see these in your material, and here you have the kametz, and both of those are to be pronounced ah. The short vowel and the long vowel. Now let's move to the E-class vowel. And we have the short vowel is known as a sagol. The sagol is three dots immediately below the letter. And this is going to be pronounced somewhat like an eh sound, like in bed or head or some type of vocalization as such. Eh is what we're looking for here. The second of the E-class vowels compared to this is the short. This is going to be the long. This is called a sareh. Sareh is two dots immediately beneath the consonant. And this is going to have more of the sound of the EY. Like if we were to say the word, hey, how are you doing? Hey, this is going to be the EY sound. That's what that's going to provide for us. Now the sareh can also be coupled with this consonant yod, and in this case we will sometimes call it a long sareh or a sareh yod. This is an example of a consonant serving as a vowel letter. Sareh yod. A. Though it's an E class, it's going to have the A sound. A. Next class is going to be the I, A-E-I. The short of this vowel class is going to be the chirik, and this is going to be an I sound, but think of it like in terms of lid or hid. It's going to be the I sound. Then you have the chirik yod. Couple the chirik with the consonant yod, and that will give you what we call the long vowel, the chirik yod. And that's going to sound like E. We would think of it like a long E. but it's an I-class vowel. So that one's going to have an E sound. So be sure and you pronounce that one like we would sometimes pronounce the long E. E. I believe in your material I gave you the U-class vowels next, so we'll go to this one. First of the U-class vowels would be the shorter. This is called the kibbutz. This is going to be an U sound. It's a U-class. It's almost going to be like a double O in some of the ways that you would say it, or U, like an EW sound. U sound. Then you have the next vowel, which is the longer of the U-class vowels, and this is the shurik. And the shurik is made by using the consonant vav and then adding to the left of the vav a dot. That's also going to be pronounced U, urik. So you hear the U sound even in the name shurik. U. Pronounce these both the same. Kibbutz and the shurik. The O-class vowel. First of those that we're going to learn is called the kametz chatuf. The kametz chatuf looks exactly like the kametz. However, this is going to be an O-class vowel. And the primary purpose, or the primary way of discerning when you have this compared to the normal kametz, is when you have this found in a closed and unaccented syllable. So closed and unaccented. There are a number of words where this is functional, and you will primarily learn the words as much as you'll just have to learn the principle. So you'll be learning the words as a better way. Chokmah is an example that I gave in class the other night. The word for wisdom uses the kametz chatuf. The other O-class vowel is going to be the full cholam. The cholam is made with the consonant vav with the dot above it. And this converts, in a sense, converts the vav from a consonant into a vowel. And this is going to be the O sound. It's just like O, obey, obedience. That's the O sound. I should have mentioned, and I will now, that this sound has more of an aw sound. If you thought of the word, I ought to go do something. It's still an O-class vowel, and it's almost a combination of the ah and the O sound, kind of compressing those together. And if you end up just kind of saying more like ol with an O, that is certainly sufficient for our purposes. So this is going to be almost like an O, ah sound, an AW, or an OU sound. Now, one of the things that's important to note about the full cholam is that it is very normal to see the consonant vav not be a part of that vowel, and immediately above the consonant you will have a dot. That is known as a defective cholam, short cholam, defective cholam. That is likewise a cholam, just like this right here. So both of those are known as the O class, full and defective cholam.